By its original design, hip-hop is a genre that is structured with collaborations in mind. Initially, it was a DJ, an MC, and a crew of lyricists that keep the ambience going and the people dancing. Then, it progressed to rappers working with a producer and its primitive sampling material in order to craft their own original material. Nowadays, intermingling between artists from different scenes, regions, and sets is entirely commonplace and has resulted in no shortage of compelling partnerships. While traditional duos such as Eric B and Rakim, Boogie Down Productions, and EPMD set the precedent, what truly fascinates fans is when two solo artists collide and find a previously unexcavated chemistry. Founded from chance encounters, a shared label affiliation, or other unforeseen circumstances that place them on a collision course with one another, there's few things that are more rewarding than seeing two artists fostering an on-wax bond that makes each time they link up a genuine event that also resonates with audiences the world over. In a celebration of the acts of creative collusion that come from these unheralded alliances, it's time to, in no particular order, dive into the best unofficial duos that the brand can boast. To kick off this rundown, let's look at a pairing that was once aligned under the banner of Birdman's Rich Gang. Eager to bring the next generation of stars that'd take on the mantle from Wheezy, Baby saw great potential in the rising star, lesser known as Jeffrey Lamar Williams, and better known as Young Thug. And yet, it was Thugger's fellow Atlantean Gucci Mane that held sway over the young, idiosyncratic MC's career at 1017 Records. And under his tutelage, it was Guwap that first aligned them with the perfect sparring partner. Brought into one another's consciousness on Gucci's Chasing Paper from Trap House 3, the observable spark between Thugger and then TIG signee Rich Homie Quan was clear to all who'd heard it. A perfect trade-off between Thugger's eccentricity and a matter-of-fact delivery of the Qantas Lamar. This winning combination was soon brought under the Birdman umbrella for a new supergroup. Culminating in the September 2014 project Rich Gang, The Tour Part 1, their partnership was lauded by fans and spawned iconic outputs such as Birdman's Aided Lifestyle, and eventually gave way to the independently devised joint project Young Rich Homie Thuggin' the following year. Neatly as they flow together over production from Isaac Flame and London on the Track, personal animosity would soon grow when Jeffrey took exception to Quan's decision to focus on himself. Declaring him Bitch Homie Quan during a 2015 performance, the relationship between the two has become increasingly fractious to the point that Thugger refuted his former collaborator's notion that they squashed the beef. It's 100% personal, he told Big Boy. Now it's like, man, you probably can't never get the blessing of having me on a song, and I can never get the blessing of having you on my song again. While Gucci may be offering $1 million for a new 12-song mixtape from the two estranged artists, it seems as though they still have a long, agonizing road of reconciliation before we'd hear them link up once more. Predominantly, hip-hop pairings arise from a protege-mentor scenario, in which an established artist uses his leverage to usher in a new star that they've deemed worthy. But in the case of Playboi Carti and Pierre Bourne, these two were just as instrumental in one another's rise to fame. After both men had toiled in the game for many years and delivered projects that did anything but set the world on fire, one infectiously catchy song would instantaneously transform their separate lives forever. An indisputable hit that was tailor-made for today's hook-driven status quo, 2017's Magnolia shot both artists into the stratosphere and gave them no short of reputability in the game. Within the space of 3 minutes and 24 seconds, not one but two innovators were brought to the wide world's attention, and the enthusiasm that surrounds their very encounter has only intensified as they continue to make their way. While they've resisted the urge to consolidate their efforts on a long-form project, in the vein that Bourne has with Young Nudie, Carti, and Pierre, have captured the magic on tracks such as I Woke Up Like This, Yo Pierre, and on the lion's share of the Og artist's critically adored Die Lit project. Although the eventual release of Carti's Whole Lotta Red project is still shrouded in misdirection leaks and no shortage of speculation, it's a safe bet that when it does arrive, it'll come complete with contributions from the Sosa House mastermind himself. As it stands, 21 Savage and producer extraordinaire Metro Boomin remain within the parameters of an official duo. However, it will be easy to imagine these two setting aside any work with other artists in favor of a period of exclusivity, as their time spent in the studio with one another never fails to yield magic. In the vein of DJ Premier and Guru, 21's distinctive flow and nonchalant delivery feels as though it was a sculpted fit with the adopted Atlantean's production work. Over the course of 9 menacing tracks, 2016 Savage Mode did wonders to solidify both artists, and the bond between them became abundantly clear by the time 21's debut Issa album came around the following year. Seamlessly parlayed into Without Warning, the addition of Offset only amplified their chemistry to the delight of fans everywhere, and it seems as though there's even more down the pipeline. Despite only lending 2 of his invented compositions to 2018's I Am, Greater Than I Was, a July show in San Diego saw the pair appear alongside one another, with the typically reserved 21 proclaiming Savage Mode 2 coming soon, to a massive audience. In spite of the distinct lack of details, the prospect of the two reuniting is enough for it to become one of the most anticipated records of the year. If there's anything that Groovy Q is known for beyond his starkly honest and occasionally drug-infused brand of hip-hop, it's his undeniable sense of humor. Sardonic and quick-witted, the Hoover Street native knows how to clown his friends, peers, and even onlookers in the streets like few others. In the recent months, no one has been on the receiving end of Q's irreverent wrath quite like A$AP Rocky. Lambasted over his penchant for modeling Calvin Klein underwear, Q's growing discontent erupted in a fit of faux rage as he proclaimed, "This so out of pocket he put headphones on. We've been friends for about 10 years and really unfollowing you on God." Amid all the comical animosity, it casts our mind back on a simpler time where the two would regularly converge on a track, with fireworks ensuing on every occasion. After making their ascent to fame at a similar point in time, TDE's Resident Crip and Pretty Flacco made a habit of turning up one another's project. Equally prone to the euphoric, blissed-out instrumentals that defined the Clams Casino-led cloud rap era, their informal union began in the earnest of Live Love A$AP's Brand New Guy before Flacco returned the favor on the decadent anthem that is Hands on the Wheel from Habits and Contradictions. With both men firmly established as veritable players in the modern era, their winning streak would continue on PMW, All I Really Need, Oxymoron's bonus track Californication, and finally, the scintillating electric body from Rocky's sophomore studio album. Although they've abstained from adding a new collab to their canon in recent years, their enduring friendship means that there's still a semblance of hope that we'll get the joint project that this enthralling tandem deserves. Most recently exhibited on their J. Cole-assisted Smash to London, the synergy between Thugger and LaFlame is nothing short of magnetic. Although conventional wisdom may dictate that the two exuberant personalities such as theirs would lead to friction, the two have managed to coexist in perfect harmony since Travis has barged his way into hip-hop's control center with Rodeo. Even though it'd eventually be bolstered by an appearance from Justin Bieber, the original demo version of what would become Maria I'm Drunk epitomized a masterful way in their two contrasting vocal styles ricocheting off one another. Rekindled on everything from Thugger's Floyd Mayweather, the underrated Skyfall from Days Before Rodeo, and revolutionary sound of Pick Up the Phone with Quavo, the two have yet to provide anything less than a triumph. Not limited to an on-wax affinity, a 2016 interview on Travis's Scott Wave radio show made it clear that the two had a rapport that's sure to persist over the years. Fresh from teaming up on the remix of Hot, don't be surprised to see them add another joint to their catalog in the years to come. Off the back of his popular YouTube series The Cave, Kenny Beats has only endeared himself to the hip-hop community at large by showing off his expansive Rolodex of friends and collaborators. Never one to be outdone, it was of no surprise when Long Beach's Vince Staples took it upon himself to besiege the internet with his freestyle. After spending the entire episode belittling the former EDM producer turned hip-hop titan, Vince delivered one line amid a phenomenal verse that will live on in infamy. Kenny Beats is the police. The origin of a meme that simply refused to subside. Vince's willingness to verbally admonish the producer is a testament to their undeniable chemistry. When Staples came out of nowhere with FM at the tail end of last year, the decision to allow Kenny Beats to oversee the entirety of the production proved to be a masterstroke. Critically acclaimed from the moment it dropped, the concise 22-minute project may seem a peculiar detour for Vince, but the end result was one of his finest projects to date. Now, as Vince moves towards the next juncture of his career, we can only hope that he links back up with his favorite law enforcement friend in order to construct more sonically invigorating work such as Don't Get Chipped and Fun. In recent years, it's become clear that the Carolinas are enjoying a golden age as it pertains to hip-hop. Whether it's J. Cole, DaBaby, or King Mez, there's a talent billowing from the area of late, and that certainly stretches to one match made in hip-hop heaven that's been making its presence felt of late. The product of two generations that everyone loves to portray as at odds with one another, Rapsody and Ninth Wonder have been churning out quality at every turn since they began co-conspiring on projects. Boasting one of the most incisive and thought-provoking pen games in recent memory, the legendary producer's guidance has proved to be an indispensable attribute to the woman behind the incredible Layla's Wisdom and its accomplished follow-up Eve from 2019. As to how their musical union came about, Rapsody heeded the Fat Joe's Coca-Vision podcast and informed him that Ninth Wonder was the one that when I first started writing my first two records, he told me I had talent. He took me under his wing from then, and he taught me people that I missed growing up that came before me, like it's always a bit of knowledge. He taught me the science of emceeing. Despite the fact that Ninth recently unveiled a project with Murs, his fellow Carolinian has been candid about receiving first dibs on new beats, and it seems to be only a matter of time before they dispense with the formalities and become an official duo. At the height of the YMCMB era, no OG-student relationship was as fruitful as the one between Drizzy and Weezy. Positioned on two of the most enduring anthems to come from Drake's sophomore album Take Care, on Hell Yeah Right, and The Motto, the steadily amassing repertoire that the two had as a unit made it almost ludicrous that they'd never transferred it into a fully fledged collab album. However, as Drake explained to XXL, the idea was shelved in the wake of another star-studded project's emergence. Me and Wayne scrapped the idea of a collaborative album. We just agreed that it would be looked upon as this competition would watch the throne. I feel like it would get caught in this whirlwind of hype, and Wayne agreed. We just said if we do it, we'll do it down the line, but right now is not the time. Through Dedication 6 and I Am Not Human, to So Far Gone and Thank Me Later, the two have added the litany of long-lasting hits to the world. Between Wayne's signature growl and Drake's silky smooth enunciation, the combination would always be a winning formula, and it does feel as though they've deprived their audience of something special. That said, a September interview with Vibe saw Wayne hopefully set the wheels in motion and suggest that the time for the long-awaited record may have finally arrived. We're both doing what we do, but we already know, Wayne said. We still text and send songs here and there, change a verse because he killed me or change a verse because I killed him. It's still the same competition. A year on since a clearance issue prevented a collaboration on the Carter 5, now would be the perfect time for these two to finally produce a standalone project that harnesses their undeniable potential as a duo. This has been a Hip Hop Madness original. Make sure to stay tuned and stay up to date with everything we got going on by hitting that subscribe button and notification bell. Oh, and don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Hip Hop Madness and join the movement.